Hello and welcome to Dice and Demons. I'm Emma and today I want to talk about the 7 ways I stay motivated to paint. So the reason I got thinking about this is that I am currently in the middle of a really big project. I am painting a Tau battlesuit for a friend and so far I'm a little over halfway through and I think I've spent like 40 hours on that project. And so that got me thinking, why am I actually still doing it? Why am I still having fun doing it? And what do I do to stay motivated, even if it's a long project? And I know even if I start painting very early in the morning and keep painting all the way through the day and stop painting at the end of the day, I still won't get through that model. No matter what I do, I still have at least 30 hours of painting left. So how do I actually stay motivated all the way through? Because that would not have been possible for me at the beginning of my painting journey, so to speak. I think I would have been very discouraged if I had to spend that much time on a single model. So along the way, I've come up with a lot of ways to stay motivated and keep having fun, even though it's a very long project. So here goes, the 7 ways I stay motivated to paint. Number 1, having a hobby space. So while I know it's not a possibility for everyone to have a dedicated hobby room or even hobby area in your house or apartment, if it's at all possible, I think it helps you a great deal. Because it means that you don't have to get out all your things and then paint for a couple of hours and then pick them all up and put them in a cupboard and clean up after you. And that just sometimes means that you think, oh, I only have an hour or so, is it even worth it? I might as well just watch some TV or play some video games or something. So having a hobby room or hobby area where you can leave it all out and then just go paint, even if you have only 10 or 15 minutes, that is really helpful. I have heard about people who don't have space for an actual hobby room or hobby area, that they have a sort of tray where they put on their current project and then they can put it on top of a bookcase or something so it's out of the way. But then if they have 15 minutes, they can just bring it down and start painting. So I think that's a great idea as well. Number 2 is having a community of like-minded people who can encourage you along the way. So for me, it's both online and in real life communities that I really value in this respect. I have a lot of online hobby spaces, everything from Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and so on, to this, of course, this YouTube channel, where I can post work in progress pictures and I can comment on other people's work and I can get inspiration from that. But to me, it's also really important that I have some physical spaces that I go. I go to my local friendly game store and I also have a club I go to as well. So that is immensely helpful and it really keeps me motivated, because then I can go and I can see, oh, what are you doing and what's your project? And people can look at what I'm doing and say, oh, I'm really looking forward to playing your army when you're done, or that looks great, or have you considered doing something like this? So having a community that where you can both inspire each other and also get constructive feedback, I think is really important. Number 3, try not to go for perfect. So that has been a big deal for me. I really want to do everything perfect, and that's just, well, very rarely, if ever, attainable. And so that can be a bit discouraging. You look at your model and think, oh, I could have done better, or I know this painter or that painter, they would have done so much more justice to this really cool model. So trying to let go of the idea that you have to be perfect, or even sometimes really good. Perhaps from time to time it's perfectly all right to just be okay, or just, get something painted on the tabletop. I know for me, I have had big models that I have had in the box with the shrink wrap on still for months. And not because I didn't have time to paint and not because I didn't want to get them out, but because I was almost afraid of doing something wrong, of ruining this beautiful model. And so I was feeling almost afraid of getting it out and putting paint on it, just because what if it didn't turn out the way I had hoped for? And at the end of the day, the worst outcome right now is to have an unbuilt model in a box. I mean, that is the least helpful thing for my hobby I can think of. So that's the way I always try to think about it when I'm feeling a bit anxious about starting a new project and worrying that it might not be good enough. I think, well, everything is at least better than having gray plastic on a sprue, because that's not hobbying at all. That's just buying stuff for your pile of shame. So doing something and trying something out, and at the end of the day, you can always strip it if you really hate what you have done with it. So I try not to get hung up on the idea that I have to be perfect or really good for it to be okay. Number 4, finding out which models and paints and brushes and so on you actually like building and painting and working with. For me, it's been a bit of a learning process, and it still is. I have been buying models that I thought looked beautiful. Like, for instance, for Age of Sigmar, I bought the Idoneth Deepkin, and I do love the models, and I think especially the big sea creatures like the sharks and the eels and the turtle, they all look great, and it's a beautiful model. The thing is, I didn't enjoy painting them. And I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with the models. They were just not for me. And the same with other armies I've tried painting. And I just found out after some time, well, I wasn't really enjoying myself. I wasn't having a lot of fun. And I have reached the point where I try to be a bit more conscious before I buy something and think, would I actually enjoy painting this, knowing what I know now about my painting style, my painting techniques, my preferred colors? Would this work out for me, or would I just end up having a half-finished, half-assembled, half-painted army that I will regret having bought every time I look at it? I still make mistakes all the time. I think most people make mistakes often. But I try to be conscious about it and thinking, would this actually be fun for me to paint, or is it just something that I like the idea of but will never actually go through with? And if it turns out that it's not a project you are ever going to finish, then, I mean, sell it. Or give it to a friend, or do something, because it'll just make you feel bad, and you will probably never get it finished. If you have had those models for 6 months and you still don't want to work on them, well, I mean, why not sell them and buy something that you are actually really excited about painting and building? Number 5, entertainment. So when I am building and painting, I often listen to audiobooks or watch YouTube videos or TV series, something like that. I can easily have a screen at the edge of my table and not look at it. So I have watched lots of seasons of different shows and never really looked at the screen. I just listened to the dialogue, and then I can sort of keep up. So it doesn't work if it's something you really have to pay attention to, but sitcoms and stuff. And then I have my guilty pleasure, which is the Danish equivalent of the Great Bake Off. So like baking competitions on screen is really embarrassing. And now you know my big shame. I can't bake, I can't cook, I'm not even interested in trying. I don't know, there's just something compelling about it, so I watch it all the time while painting. Yeah, so that's embarrassing. Sorry. Number 6, only taking short breaks. And I mean this not in the way that if you are taking a break during the day, that's a bad thing, or that you can't go on vacation, or that you can't be caught up in life and have to have periods in your life where you can't paint. But what I mean is, if you have a week and you feel like, I mean, it would be nice to be painting, but you could also play a video game, and you can read a book, and you can do all sorts of other things, then perhaps make yourself paint just for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or just paint this one guy's trousers or something, just to stay in the painting loop, so to speak. Because I find that if you put away your projects and don't touch a brush or a model for an extended period of time, you get out of the habit, and at some point you just I at least lose all motivation, because I have been at this project for a month and nothing has happened. I will never finish it. And of course, if you don't touch a brush, then it won't finish itself, but just feels demotivating to look at something and know, I should have been painting it, and it could have been done 3 weeks ago, but I haven't painted since, and it's still not done. So yeah, short breaks, and then just give yourself some very attainable goals. Like, I'm I don't want really, I really don't want to paint today. I just want to play video games, but I'm just going to be painting for 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes, and then I can play video games the rest of the evening if I want to. That really helps me. One, I often find that after I've been painting for 10 minutes, I want to keep going. And two, even if I don't want to keep going, I feel like I have accomplished something. I have actually put paint on a model. I like playing video games a lot, but they rarely leave me with the feeling that I have actually accomplished something. I have just been entertained, which is fine in and of itself, but I also really enjoy the feeling of accomplishment, and that comes for me from painting my minis, for instance. And number 7, I like having a purpose for my models. So as I have been saying many times here on this channel, I often paint to play. So I have the purpose of I want to finish this model because it will be awesome to have a finished and painted army to put on the tabletop. Another purpose might be I want to paint this exact model because I want to put it on display at home, or I'm painting it for a competition, or I'm painting it to try out this new technique and I want to see what it looks like when it's all done. You can have all sorts of purposes. It doesn't have to be related to gaming or a competition or anything. It can just be for your own benefit, your own enjoyment. I want to finish this model to put it on display. So, but being conscious of that, I find motivates me a lot. So I'll look at it and know, okay, so yeah, it'll take a long time, but once I'm done, it'll be so cool to play with or show other people or do something else. So keeping that in mind all the time makes me really motivated to paint. So these are the 7 ways I stay motivated to paint. I hope they were in some ways helpful or inspirational to you. If you have other ways of staying motivated, please let me know in the comment section below, and hopefully we can help each other out and inspire each other to get painting. Because I think a lot of people really want to be painting and want to be motivated to paint, but they still have a hard time actually getting it done. If you never enjoy painting and you hate it every single time you put a brush on a model, well, perhaps this just isn't a part of the hobby that's for you, and that's totally fine. But a lot of people actually really want to get it done, but just somehow don't. So if we can help each other staying and getting more motivated to paint, that would be awesome. Also, if you want to show off your painted models, you are more than welcome to join me at the Dice and Demons showroom on Facebook. I will leave a link to that in the show notes below. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, I hope you will consider leaving a like and perhaps subscribing to my channel. Thank you. Bye.